It being 3:30, October 24th, 2018, call a regular meeting of the Wareham Housing Authority to order. Please silence all your devices. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Mr. Fay is right behind you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call. Donna Braun present, Jean Connaughton present, Bob Powley present. Not here is Eleanor Martin and Bill Lockwood. No resident participation. Also with us is Mr. Bob White from the cable television company in Wareham. First order of business is to review and approve the regular meeting minutes of September the 19th, 2018, which is in your package.
All right. I make a motion that we accept the minutes as written and submitted.
And I'll second it.
Motion made by Donna Brock, seconded by Jean Connaughton. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
3-0, right? 0.
Jackie, did you get a copy of the PMR?
I did.
I'm not here.
Okay. Oh, the official one has not been,
Oh, I haven't seen
yeah, the official one has not been released.
it. Okay.
This is what they did release, so I'll just, this
Okay.
is just the,
That's all, yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
You actually can have,
Thank you.
yeah, there you go. That's the one they left me with on the day of the PMR. It will be, released in 2 weeks.
Sunday.
They said 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
she said don't hold your breath if it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like the other.
Okay.
Anyhow, okay. Next item on the agenda is to authorize the signing of checks and documents that have adequate supporting documentation and appropriate approval by the administrative director.
Motion made.
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we,
Motion by Jean Connaughton,
That we accept,
seconded by Donna Braun.
that we, what's the motion accept?
That we-
you're authorizing the checks and documents.
Oh, okay,
that
I'm
have
sorry.
adequate-
Yeah.
Signing of warrants and so forth.
Oh, seconded by me.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, 3-0-0. Okay, new business, administrative report.
So vacancies carried forward was 4. We have a vacancy in Redwood 1, leaving 5. We have 3 that will be leased up by November 1st. And so just want to let you know that.
Leaving 2,
We have 5,
right?
No,
Yeah, fine.
we will be leaving 2, yes, once we lease up everybody.
Except those other
We're in
two.
the process, I hope, and most of them will be done this week, but I said 11/1 just to, because some people, some of the prospective tenant applicants are, one is having a problem with the money, so I'm gonna give them a couple of days.
How long have these units been vacant?
Some of them have been, they were on, these were all Agawam, they were on a waiver because we could not get the asbestos remediated.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay.
So that's covered?
That's covered, yeah.
Okay, so, but how long have they been, I'm just
It's right
curious.
there, vacant June 30th, Union 12,
Oh,
Oh,
September
I
30th.
gotcha, I gotcha, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then you have,
Just, I wanted to be the resident
Applications,
waiting,
right.
the applicant waiting list, as of, just so we all are understanding, as of January 1st, it opens up to the online wait list system. So we will have probably an increase because people will have a greater availability to click off Wareham Housing Authority, so I just want everybody to be aware of that. So they have they haven't opened it up to the public yet, but it is on its way, so they say. So just so we have in our resident applications 208, Non-resident applications 467 for a total of 675. And then,
Can I ask you a question?
go ahead, yeah.
How often are these updated, these applications?
Our previous, we will now be going to the Section 8 program every 2 years. They will eradicate them if they don't update.
Yeah.
But right now, we are required every 3 years.
Or everything?
So some, we do, once we did the complete overview, we then we're doing a rolling one, so we're on top of this all the time.
Because I think it's gonna go down, because I've heard several applicants that are no longer here, they passed away.
Well, you
See,
said
Right,
we
if it's
also
less
find
than
out.
3 years, yeah,
You don't know?
we don't know, so we're like,
So it's not done, they don't update them annually, you have to, only every 3 years?
we're only required every 3 years. So if it does come down, then, they will be like, so now because the state does it every 2 years, they're taking over the whole updating. They will be mailing out the, are
Okay.
you still interested letter. If they don't hear, you immediately go off. It's just like Section 8. There's no wiggle room anymore.
Mhm.
You either did it or you didn't.
So if they're doing it every 2 years, you're still going to have to do it
No.
on the third?
No, it's actually
good.
going to substantially change the way we handle the applicants because we won't have a paper copy anymore. There won't be somebody coming in and handing us a copy, only when they don't have the ability to have a computer, so.
Okay.
So will we still have a list and have these numbers? Or it'll
I
be
am not sure.
statewide?
I am not sure, because I'm not sure if we can actually, when we were trained, they didn't do the reporting end of it. So I don't know, because they weren't done yet with figuring out the reporting mechanisms. We can only pull if we are looking for a unit to be, we were just trained on the pulling. So I'm sure there's reporting mechanisms out there,
We
and I'm
hope,
hoping there
because this
is.
could be a problem. You could just have a big statewide list from 1 to 1,000,000.
Yep.
And there's no, how do you sort them by?
Well,
by-
they do, the applicant is
local or
required
non-local?
to go in and attach to a housing authority. So when they do fill it in, and it's a very easy application, they click off the housing authorities they want.
Yeah, but what about, so when we have this list of the ones they want, how do we know where they're from? That's my thing.
Apparently they
You gotta
are
list
to
them.
put, well, I mean,
You
they
can
put,
click and see which is Wareham,
I
which
think
is
Donna probably
not.
has more, do you have more idea of the Section 8 online portal system, and do you have any of that?
No, it wasn't online.
Okay,
It wasn't
so
online. whenever-
It's all goodwill, right? We go on, we fill out the application. They have to bring their supporting documentation in when they get to the top
When they
list.
get to
Right,
apply,
Right, I mean,
Yeah.
certified.
How will emergencies be handled with that, Jackie? Because, I mean, say an individual has they become homeless, I mean,
Right.
that's always a,
well, there's 7 categories, and the first 4 are the emergency case categories. And
Right.
so they have to, along with this application, it will tell them what category which one do you fit. So now, for emergencies, it doesn't matter, there's no local preference for emergencies. So anybody can go on and put in whatever town they want to go in. They verify that that's the town they're picking, and then they hit the thing. So when you pull it, emergency ones, which are refugees and displaced.
Fire,
Yeah,
still-
and there's a whole list of what each one means.
So
So
then,
you pick which one, and then when you run the list, whoever is number 1, that has to go in first, no matter where they are, no matter what town they're
it doesn't matter what town they're from,
it does not matter, even though it is kind of changing speaking to other executive directors around the state that I am friendly with, they feel that this is changing how they were trained 20 years ago, that the local preference had more of a weighty thing. Now they're stepping back from local preference because their mindset is place homeless people in housing no matter where they are. And so that emergency part of it has become less restrictive as it was in the past. It's now, if you're one and you're in Brockton and you want to claim Wareham as your town, then they become number 1, and they can track whether or not we're placing number 1.
yeah, but all things all things aren't always equal, and when it
Correct.
is equal, we ought to
Correct.
be able to distinguish between a local and a non-local, and if number two is local and they're equally or more in an.
Then you would
case of an
pick, you would
emergency,
take the local preference, absolutely.
Because they have more of an emergency than number one, even though they're number two. So why couldn't we pick
Well,
number
the
two?
Most of them die before they get to the tropical list.
Well, not in emergency situations.
No, I don't, but these residents.
Yeah, but the emergency ones, that kind of concerns me because we know that statistically, the homeless numbers are made up of a high percentage of substance abuse.
Yeah, and a large variety of homeless too.
So, yeah, so,
Transition or needy, actually can live in an environment of homeless, or they're just in and out homeless.
Absolutely.
the majority
This
of,
is-
the substance
we are
abuse is what
working-
bothers me coming into our development.
Well, that's true, and so we have, notwithstanding what you said, and they're developing this system,
Mhm.
we're still responsible for operating, managing, and controlling this place. And what all of this stuff they're doing is procedural, policy, and not having the weight of the statute behind it, in terms of us saying, we get 5 people, and they're all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we think number 4 is more. Because they're claiming homelessness without proving it. They're
Well,
just
no,
putting
I think
themselves
you
on the
have to-
list.
we
Somebody
really
has
have
to-
to, you
it
have
has
to
to be
prove
getting.
it. You have to prove it.
Yeah, but that, to who? To us or to when they go in the system?
No, they have to,
To us.
Okay, so then they're
Yes.
still just on the list. We
Yeah.
can then say, no, you're not, you
If
don't
we can
qualify,
find
you're
a
not eligible.
legitimate-
Goodbye.
If we find, I use, and staff will back me up, that we use every means possible
To
to
verify.
verify that they are
What they
definitely
are.
qualify as an emergency case status within the guidelines that we are given. So we have had a lot, I mean, 10, 15 applications every 2 weeks. And I'm happy to say most are not, they're not. We've got a philosophical problem between a homeless shelter and a homeless advocacy group and how they interpret those laws and how we are trained to interpret those laws. So that,
Well,
I
they're not
feel,
laws.
I mean, regulations,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
regulations.
And
So,
then the nitwits in Boston interpret them differently too.
correct. So we worked really hard. We have meetings once a week with our emergency case applicants to make sure they are qualified to be called emergency, and make sure under the domestic abuse that we get all the proper notifications and documentation that is in this regulation. So we are not taking on anything or anybody that we would compromise the housing authority.
Right, because of all like what Donna says, there's all those things about drug-free housing, that's a law, and passing a Corey check and all this other stuff, and we have this discretion in those regards to
Yeah.
to make a decision. And how do we know, I mean, that they haven't put themselves in other applications in other places? They only can put one, and that's where they show
Well,
up.
how they're supposed to do it, and again, how is anybody, because we don't have
Control.
knowledge or control over Bourne Housing Authority or Stoughton or Brockton. When they say I'm declaring Wareham, I just get a piece of paper. It doesn't say, some do pass the paper on that says I declare Brockton as my home. So I just put them in, in another pile because they're not declaring Wareham as number 1. It is going to change once this becomes an online portal, so, because I don't think they have,
There'll be a lot of bugs they're working on.
there is gonna be a lot of
All right.
things happening.
Okay.
Just a thought, if somebody has an emergency, then we don't often have openings.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
true.
That's
they
the
move
other-
over,
right.
they must
Move-
have
move-
to
move
move
quickly.
them on someplace else.
Yeah,
Well,
there's gotta
they-
be
yeah.
another spot for them,
Right.
because if we got no openings, because we don't have 2,000 units.
Right.
And the only other, it sounds like we won't have this resident application number.
Well,
won't be
I
able to track
can't, I honestly
don't know
can't say that.
Okay.
There must be a way
System.
to be able to do
Yeah.
this. I'm not aware of it yet. I
Okay.
don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I wanna.
All right.
So, at the beginning of the period, we had 21 work orders. We completed 80. And that was the main, just so you know, that was the remaining of our inspections, the inspection work orders. And then we have 10 remaining. So on 10/11/2018, thank you to Senior Whole Health for bringing pie and ice cream to Agawam Village in Redwood to present the Senior Whole Health Program. The woman was the former director of SHINE program, which helps everybody with healthcare, picking healthcare and prescription drug programs. On 10/16/2018, DA Cruz, District Attorney Cruz, was here and brought pizza lunch and goodies. Fun was had by all. The goodies and pizza were paid by confiscated cash and items from criminals across the state of Massachusetts. DA Cruz was very interesting, informing residents on possible scams and other criminal behavior affecting the elderly, and thank you to them and their staff. On 10/22, we had our annual PMR on Monday. Mary Farrell and Robert Garrett have come and emailed the results to walk through the units. That's what we did. Yeah. The other suggestions that were made, they want us to have a written deferred maintenance plan, which we have written the actual items that are in the deferred maintenance plan, but we don't have something that says these are the items that go in the maintenance deferred plan. And same thing with preventative maintenance. We have a check off an Excel spreadsheet, and they want it to have a written one too as well. So that was their suggestions with that. They do have different guidelines, which I just learned as far as unit turnovers. There on the PMR, it's only 30 days, but in the other part of DHCD, it's 60 days. So I don't know why it's separate, but they just informed us of this week. The Mass Narrow Annual Fall Conference will be in Natick, December 3rd and December 4th. And the acting police chief has reached out to Wareham Housing Authority and will be here on November 15th and 16th to also talk about senior safety, and we look forward to his presentation. So I am going to be on vacation from November 4th, 2018 to November 12th, 2018. And I do have one announcement that there is going to be a first-time home buyer seminar offered by Plymouth Redevelopment Authority on November 13th and 14th in the evening from 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And I'm trying to get all the people that I know are looking for that information and make the announcement out. And that is my administrator's report.
We have a motion on the administrator's report.
I move that we approve the administrator's report.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. So carried, 3-0-0.
Okay, so the Agawam sign, the infrastructure report, the Agawam sign has been installed. The insurance has signed off on this and will be sending payment shortly, and we will pay the sign company. Unit 51 is 99% complete. We have the doors and the wardrobe and some final touch-ups to finish. The tenant will be signing the lease on Friday. So even though I said 11/1 in my report, I just am giving myself a few days in case we have a glitch. So building 3 and 5 completed except for the punch list items, which were very minor items. And they will be here tomorrow and Friday to finish them and to redo the stoop in 52, which is a change order that we are going to be voting on today. And the change order, they were paving the walkway in front of 5 as soon as possible because the weather is changing. Unit C13, that is the tub conversion. That is completed as of Thursday tomorrow. They're just putting one more item that was back ordered back on. So those are the things we'll be voting on. Next is the substantial completion for the 317028, which is the building 3 and 5, and a certificate of final completion for the 317032, the tub conversion. I reached out to Guy Cantina, and he's still, he said as soon as he gets that pump, he will let us know, and he will be installing it. And I have not heard from him since the last meeting. So just to bring everybody's attention, we do have a motherboard issue with the fire alarm system in Agawam. Although again, that's got a problem because they needed 3 weeks to order the part, and it needs to come in. The alarm does work though, because the fire department did come and they did test it, so. So I wanted to, okay, so our heating system is 5 years old in Redwood. It's a large system. Last month, we had a very hard time replacing a circulator pump. We could not get that circulator pump. It took 3 weeks to get this part. And it's made in Providence, Rhode Island. And the metal comes from China. So it's a whole issue with that and getting it in and out of our country. And but we did get one. We've ordered now others, but this is no small part, and it's really distressing. At 5 years old, we're replacing, this is our second circulator pump. 2 motherboards have been replaced, and now we've got another type of pump, which it left my mind, that needs to, it's a hot water heat combo. Well, there's 3 different pumps. One's a circulator, but this pump in G building is not the circulator pump. It's a, I can't think of the name of it right now, I'm sorry, I should have written it down, but we've got one coming, and as soon as that, it's working still, but at times it's a computer, so it powers down and they have to get back in there and reboot it. So it's because the pump is not doing what it's supposed to. But I am distressed that at 5 years old we have to replace these parts on a boiler system. But it was put in finished in April of 2013, and
it was effective then.
They put in a Cadillac of a heating system in Agawam, and they put in a jalopy system in Redwood. And why they did that, I don't know.
Who did it?
The state, the capital infrastructure program. Okay, so then to go on and talk about the certificate of substantial completion for 317-0228, and we have 2 change orders. So the substantial completion just means that they have substantially completed everything. We are, on the 22nd, they did the walkthrough, and after the walkthrough is done, then we can issue the substantial completion, and that has been done. The 2 change orders that we are voting on for 317-028 is, again, the new stoop in front of 52, and a new walkway in front of the 5 building, which will alleviate our drainage issue that we are having. So then we don't have to do a French drain because it'll have a barrier. The water won't be able to get in all the way close to the building. Because of the new walkway, will be ADA compliant and a few inches off the ground where it is not, it's flat right now to the ground. It actually sunk below the dirt. So when it rains, it comes right through. This way it has a buffer and it won't come through. So those are the 2, and the quote.
How are we paying for them?
Those are change orders.
Yeah.
We have a fund for the change orders. They are, it's a percentage of the cost of, I'm sorry, I do have it right here. It's a percentage of the cost of the program. Okay, so how it works is we have, we paid out of 317-028, CPC paid $37,000. And we had $14,000 remaining after the stoop was taken out. There was $14,000 remaining.
Okay.
So they only allocated $35,500 of the CPC money, so it's going to go up to $37,000. So that gives us $1,500 more added onto the 14. So that's $15,500. And then the remaining portion is $890. It'll be $500 and $390 because the total cost of the paving is $16,390. That portion will be passed on to CPC because that's the area in front of building number 5, and it's also part of the ramp. So that portion is going to be paid out of we're going to actually submit that, so it won't just be $37,000, it'll be more. But I don't know that number at this point, so it's probably the $890 will get passed over to CPC, and that's the budget for that. So part of it's coming from the capital infrastructure fund, and part of it is coming from CPC.
Okay.
Okay, so do you have those?
Yeah.
You wanna do those?
Oh, I'm sorry, and then the other 2, yeah, and then the other 2 votes are for the other 317-032, which is the tub conversion. It's a change order in the amount of $710.46, and that is Alliance Enterprise Plumber. For him, there was a problem in the reinstallation of the toilet that they had to come back and fix, and then the other remaining portion of that is the general contractor's money that he can tack onto that. So, and then we are taking a vote on the final completion of that. So how the motion reads, okay, so do you want to do the infrastructure? That is my infrastructure report.
Okay. Have a motion to approve the infrastructure report, and we'll have two separate motions to approve these two change orders. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the
Motion to approve the infrastructure report.
motion by Jean, seconded by
Okay, now second.
Donna? Any further discussion on that? All in favor, 300. Now we have
Okay,
two
so-
change orders.
yeah.
One is for,
Vote to approve a change order in the amount of $710.46 to fix the leak in bathroom C13, fish number 317032.
Okay, I make a motion, that we pay the, I lost my train of thought.
$710.
$710.46, of the chain, for the tub conversion.
Number 317032. Do we have a
Second.
second on that by Donna? Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. 300. Now the next one is
16390.
Yeah, it's the
Certificate.
motion to approve the certificate of substantial completion and final completion and a final payment on job number 317032 in the amount of $2403. $2,403, which is the amount of the final part of his contract.
So moved.
Second.
any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
300.
Motion to approve change order number 5, additional stoop reconstruction on unit 52 for $3,770. And change order number 6 to replace building number 5's walkway as written by DDC Construction. And I think I did send that to everybody
In the
earlier,
amount of?
in the amount of $16,390.
Okay. So motion
I'll
on
move to approve the 16390 for the paving, additional paving in building 5.
motion made.
Reluctantly second.
Now you can tell us why in your discussion.
No, I just think that the bill is outrageous.
I agree.
It's
asked
absolutely
them.
outrageous, and
Oh, yeah.
I think
We asked Tommy Barboza to come and give us a quote,
yeah,
and here it is, I'm sorry, John, right here. You can look at that. That's-
I
I'm sorry.
just think,
What happened?
He,
Didn't bid.
he came by and he's older, he's in the old fashioned, so he something about not wanting, he said he's too busy.
How long is this for?
This is,
Goes around all the buildings that you...
it's just right out in front of the building, but it's,
how did you get the fellow that did it? How'd he come about?
this is through
That's what I'm
DDC
afraid.
Construction.
Yeah,
It's
through the state.
Clover, no, it's a Clover paving and seal coat, yeah, because what happens is, it's, if you look at their bid,
Yeah,
and then you see they get to add on, the state allows them to add on their percentage.
What percentage? What's it called?
It's, right here, this is it, right here, so I'll give you a copy, I've got a copy, I
this
think
is ridiculous, this is low income housing and we're getting raped.
I
We're
agree.
getting raped.
This is the,
Maybe a poor choice of words, but
No, we advertise, publicize, and this is.
here it is, right
This
here.
is a.
So the actual subcontractor is $13,470.
Then they add
They-
15%
They got a
overhead.
subtotal up over here, and then they add this part over here, and then their
overhead,
bond premium
and
goes
bond
up.
premium $242.
So they have to pay the man hours.
now we couldn't get any other bids?
that had to go through DDC construction.
Oh, okay.
So they,
So this is,
And they're, and DDC
see is the people that
did
did
the
this.
state sent down here in the first place?
Yes.
Well, you know what, I think we should address the state and say, look, for affordable housing, which we're providing,
Right.
they're sending ludicrous. I mean, I don't wanna do business with somebody in New Bedford that I can do some business here, local. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And you're paying,
And we're paying,
$71.46 an hour.
I mean, the bills that I see are just absolutely outrageous.
8 hours, $71.46, $571. Stack existing cobblestones inside. Well, that's what happens. So DDC
That money I
goes out
get,
to these subs, and we don't know how many
I get
people
street
he put out the
repaid.
bid or anything else. But
Now, he did try Tommy Barboza, and, I mean, the problem is it's the end of the,
The asphalt
we
year.
extended it, so it's the end of the asphalt year, we extended the whole, because when they put in the stoops on 2 particular units, I said, this is not, they had to bring it out. And when they brought it out, they took like 4 inches off the walkway. Well, our walkways in one corner now is only like 12 inch, I mean, and it's crumbling on the one end. I'm like, this is not healthy, we can't do this to units 50, you know, some of the people that are over in the other units that have to walk by this.
And you see those names, attention name, that's the architect of the area.
yes, out of Worcester.
Yeah, out of Worcester.
Well,
So,
Well, this I saw today, they're everywhere but here.
I know, it's crazy.
I have a suggestion.
We
and I-
should try to get local
Get
contractors.
get a meeting with the people at the state, and you know, we've got to be able to get local people to do
There's
these
local
jobs.
asphalt people in this town.
Of course there is, I mean, I
There's
can get a small street done for what they charge you for this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ludicrous, I've never seen anything like it.
That's why I actually fought that. We did in front of 4. Again, the guy gave us a good deal. He only charged us $49.95. I said, how on earth, 2 years later, it quadrupled, it 3 times the amount I paid? How is that okay? Well,
same
and they
as when-
came, and I think I actually sent you the email. I think I sent you the
Yeah.
email thing where I said, how is this okay? And he's like, well, we checked with the state, we checked with local guys, and this is what it would be. So they must have had other bids, and this is what it is on the state level. And this is our taxpayer dollars.
These people that work for the state and federal government don't realize they're spending taxpayers' money.
Well,
So they just go through all these procedures and the prices go sky high,
and I know it,
besides the prevailing wage and
I
all
know it
that
can
other
be,
crap.
I know it can be aggravating, but I would go to them and, you know, have a meeting and say, look, we have local people that we do business with and we'd like to do it.
And they
local
pay
stuff.
taxes in this town.
They would have, unfortunately, because of the procurement laws, and this is what prohibits them.
I know,
If they would go and get certified, because see, when you have to be a certified
Contract.
contractor, but I'm sure because it's less than 25,000 now, we just need 3 reliable bids.
Mhm.
I know they had, I don't know, he did he told me he reached out to Tommy to get quotes from him, and I don't know if he ever did receive it. I don't know if this is the lowest, because when I did rebuke this price, because I thought this was ridiculous, you know, and then when I read, they're adding on, you know, $3,000 to this bid, almost $3,000. I'm like, that has nothing to do with the actual guy, subcontractor's rate. So it's $571 per one guy, there may be 2 or 3, and then the cost of material, and I don't know what the cost of the going rate right now is. So those $3,000 would be in whether we got a local contractor or not. So that's where I was like, okay, I'll pass it on. I did my due diligence, I tried to,
I just think that a meeting with the state on this.
'Cause I don't think
And
they-
maybe we should do a local seminar, have a local seminar on how
How to bid.
contractors can get on this procurement list.
yeah.
Because, you know, even if we put it out to 4 or 5 counts, hey, look,
Local,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, we're all in this
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
let's have a seminar, this is what you need to do, we
I-
wanna use you,
they
how
would-
can we do this?
They're not, they would be okay with that. They
Yeah,
would be
so, but
okay.
was that also because it was part of DDC? He was the
Well, he's the general
contractor, and he had to
contractor.
sub this out? Or was
He
it-
has to
and it was
sub this
part of
out,
that
'cause it's
change
under
out to
the-
his contract?
Correct.
Did he give us a quote, a bid in the bid, a quote in the beginning?
Yeah. And-
No, because this is actually a change order to
An
to
add-on.
fix.
No, I guess I meant the overall bid
Yeah, which
initially.
didn't include this.
Okay, because this
So it
is
didn't include
kind of
this,
a
this
mistake.
came about, and so we
Yeah,
should
So
have
what-
I
said,
get it.
we probably should have tried to say, we're gonna go out separately on that, leave it out, don't you do it. But then the state would say, oh no, and the architect, this guy from Worcester would call up and say, oh no, make it part of mine so I can get my cut out of it.
No,
We can't be giving people cuts, we need to.
no, this
Balance the
$3,000 would be there because it would
Yeah.
fall under this contract. And they get a percentage, like they get the percentage in the other, they're able to up it a
Well-
certain percentage.
Oh, here's another, just one thought before I forget it. CETA would send out for contractors, and remember, they always had a difficult time.
They did. But
So
they did
it's
get
not
them,
easy to get those that are certified.
they usually don't want to do
Because-
the state work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I
that's
think
like
God
Bill
knows why,
said before, you
because
got a
they're
book like this, and that's why Bill said nobody's interested, because to do a small job, you gotta go through 150 pages of baloney.
And you probably have to wait for your money
They're
too.
not staffed to do, yeah, and you gotta wait.
Wait for
to
your
get
money,
paid.
yeah. Poor way to do business.
Yeah,
I'll agree with you there, because I keep on reminding them.
yeah, well, you could.
No, because let me give you an example. The last payment that came in for this DDC construction, I said, where's the $37,000 that's supposed to come off from the CPC money? Now, they know from the beginning that CPC was gonna pay for a portion of that contract. And they said, well, we know what we're doing, and I'm like, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, we don't
So,
worry, we don't worry.
I
about it.
actually wrote on it, I did write on the, saying minus 37,000, blah, blah, blah. And they did put that through for that amount minus the CPC. If I didn't say anything, they'd have sent the whole contract amount to us.
Sure.
I mean, hindsight, we would have more money to work with, but
Yeah.
I just was protecting the taxpayer trust because they knew from the beginning that I said, on your documents, there's no place to put other funding, so they could immediately put that in. So from the beginning, when the, how the requests for payment go in, it's shown from the beginning. And the contractor, he's not gonna say anything, he don't mind getting double dipped and, you know, so,
Okay. All right,
okay, so, I'm sorry.
Okay,
We
so
do
that's.
one more certificate of, the motion to vote and approve the certificate of substantial completion by DDC Construction as presented by Knoll Architects and DDC Construction. And that does not have, because it's a big one, it does not have any money attached to it, that's just,
It's just substantial completion.
You just need to know
of the
that.
entire contract, okay. So,
Okay, so I'll make the motion as you stated.
for substantial,
I lost.
substantial completion of the DDC construction
Oh, let's do
contract.
it.
It's
Okay.
up in the top, second, last paragraph of fish 317-028,
Oh, that one, okay.
yeah.
So,
And-
I make a move, that we do the certificate of substantial completion for fish 317-028,
Okay,
building cleaning fund.
Same.
Okay.
so, we have,
second.
we have a second by Donna. Any further
Okay.
discussion, all in favor? So,
Aye.
carried. 3-0-0.
and that completes the business.
I have one question. On your vacancy, on your delinquent report, I noticed one person hadn't paid anything on there.
Correct.
What's going on with the person?
We he just figured out how he's going to pay me back. So I did not put it on there because I haven't adjusted any of my documents.
Is
So
that
he's
the
gonna
first
pay
one, Donna?
$250 extra a month to get that down.
You're gonna make sure he does?
Absolutely.
If he doesn't,
They are on a weekly pay system now, and we're just gonna up it by $62 a
Okay.
Is
week.
that the first one, Donna, or the second last?
the one that didn't have anything paid on it.
This one right here.
Oh, yeah.
Which one is it?
The second last one.
We were just
On that
finishing
Oh, the 11.
deliberations.
This one's big too.
Yeah,
What, yeah, but that one, they're, like, he's, you can see that
Okay.
his payment's 403, but he's paying extra on it,
Yeah,
475.
okay.
No signers?
Yeah.
He
No,
died before
no.
he finished.
no signature there.
And then you reckon you get to tell them you voted on?
Yeah,
the
right here.
state? Okay.
I'll do that, because I'm gonna do more.
Oh, this one, that's what, I don't understand this one. G13. The rent is 1141?
Correct.
Yeah.
He didn't pay any on the past due. He owes 1 month.
He owes 1 month.
His father died, which does not, happens to us all. He had to pay for the funeral, pay for part of the funeral, and he didn't pay rent.
Still gotta
So-
pay a mortgage.
Absolutely. So I told him that. So I made him go to a weekly pay. So each week, which that, we sat down and had a budget meeting with the family, because it's an older woman and a man.
But he's delinquent 1 month's rent.
He's delinquent 1 month, but we just are signing a repayment agreement. We
Making
just
his
figured,
regular payments plus extra.
Yeah.
extra. Oh.
yeah. Well, now he's going to, because I want 200, I don't want to go, I said 6 months, I want it gone.
Yeah. And then this one here is,
He's cruising right along.
he's picking up.
Right,
about
this one's cruising right along,
$72 a
and
month.
then this one, he finally came in and signed the repayment agreement. I told him he's gonna go to a 14-day notice to quit. And he told me that November 1st, he's gonna pay the whole off, but that's what his talk is cheap. And
Okay.
this particular family also came in this morning, and because I issued them that, the sheriff came,
Yeah.
and I said, you know, they said that they would pay the whole amount on November 1st. I said, you don't need to be here on November 1st. I got a check, there's a check that was signed today for housing court, because that's it, we're not waiting. We can't wait for anything.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other further business? Hearing none. Call for meeting to adjourn.
I
Next
move that we
meeting-
adjourn the meeting.
Next meeting, November 28th,
I'll second that.
Sandwich Road here, Egg